When I was in Hong Kong, I met a retired prominent lawyer. He's a very prominent lawyer, Mr. Wu, and he got interested in Buddhism about 20 years ago, and he wrote some material, and recently he printed it. Originally he wrote in Chinese, and then he rewrote it in English because he's a lawyer. He speaks and writes good English in Hong Kong. I mean, in Hong Kong, being a lawyer, your language uses English in court, so you really have to speak and write good English. So he translated his Chinese book that he wrote, and that book is about Buddhism to beginners. So I talked to him because I was given 2 booths in this year's book fair. Every year Hong Kong open a book fair for 7 days, and this book fair is regularly visited by millions of people. See, Hong Kong has 8 million people in Hong Kong, and a lot is as an entry port. In other words, a lot of Westerners, when they travel to China, they always stay in Hong Kong for hotels and communications, for banking. So, book fair, millions of people will attend, and this year the Trade Development Council gave me 2 booths to put my books. I wrote 4 books in Chinese, and I make a lot of DVDs, like this is what I'm making, DVDs in Cantonese and in English, and that. And last year, a booth owner allowed me to use 5 feet of space in his 4 booths. So last year there was a lot of people came to my 5 feet of DVD, and the Trade Development Council they like it, so they say, okay, this year I'll give you 2 booths yourself, and you can put books in there. So I wanted to, in addition to my books, I wanted to add some more books onto my booth. So I talked to this lawyer, and he donated 2,000 books to me, and 1,000 Chinese and 1,000 English. So I'm going to give every one of you 1 book. So can you distribute those? So, but make sure that don't just receive. I mean, it's all. This is just outside the point. Whatever you're doing, always give. Don't just think of, I want to receive, I want to get more. Whatever you're doing in your family, in the society, in your job, always think about giving more than you receive. So this is free, but it's not compulsory. You feel free to give donation upstairs and put in a donation box. Also for the eating too. Every time this lunch is free, but don't just depend on donation. You give your own donations. Always give. Always good to give, not to receive. Always give. Give as much as possible. Give out. Okay, you understand what I mean? Yeah. Okay. So this book is called The Core of Oriental Wisdom. Buddhism explained and compared with other religions in English. So it's very clear, very clear, concise English. So read it. Okay. So this is this book. There's a few questions. The first question is, what is the difference between wisdom and intelligence? Knowledge and wisdom. What's the difference between wisdom and intelligence? Usually, in common English, wisdom and intelligence, they're almost like analogous to what do you call a synonym for each other. Is it synonym? It's called a synonym for each other. They have more or less the same meaning, but in the Buddha's teaching, they're not the same meaning. Wisdom, in the Sanskrit language, is prajna, Prajna. Prajna means wisdom. Pra means beyond. Prajna, that means ultimate, complete understanding. I have intelligence, but I may not have wisdom. But if I have wisdom, I already have intelligence. Let me give you an example. I'm a scientist, for example. Just take an example. I'm not a scientist, but I take an example. I have the intelligence of creating an atomic bomb. So I have very high intelligence, otherwise I can't create an atomic bomb. And I would like to use this atomic bomb to dominate the whole world. So intelligence could have positive and negative effect, a positive side and negative side. If you use your intelligence intelligently, with wisdom, then you use your intelligence to benefit mankind. If you use intelligence in the wrong way, then your intelligence will be hurting mankind. For example, Hitler, Nazi Germany. Hitler has high intelligence. He could control the whole Nazi Germany. He almost dominated the whole of Europe for a certain period of time. An average intelligent person could not do that. He has high intelligence. But what did he do? He massacred people. He wiped out, almost wiped out or erased people from the world. He killed millions of people. So he wrongfully applied his intelligence. So intelligence has both negative and positive aspect to it. But wisdom is not the same. Prajna is not the same. Prajna is only positive. Prajna is only, it's rendering compassion to everybody, rendering compassion to mankind, benefiting mankind with unconditionally. So that's prajna. So wisdom and intelligence is not the same. We want to attain anuttara samya sambuddhi. We want to have prajna. When you have that prajna, you already have intelligence. So Buddha has the supreme anuttara samya sambuddhi, supreme prajna, complete understanding of the universe. When you have wisdom, when you do things with wisdom, you're steering yourself on the right path. When you do things only with intelligence, which could be positive and negative, you're not on the right path. You're not on the Aryan, saint path, sagely path. So briefly speaking, the Buddhist teaching is to teach us wisdom, not just intelligence. If you have wisdom, you know what is right and what is wrong. If you have wisdom, you would not be ignorant. Why do we commit bad deeds? Why do we create bad karma? If you don't use your intelligence correctly, then you steer yourself into wrongful path. So in studying Buddhism, the first lesson we have to learn is the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path. Right view, right speech, right understanding, right livelihood, right meditation, right mindfulness. So we have to know what is right and what is wrong. So we have to understand the Noble Eightfold Path first. We have to study the Noble Eightfold Path in detail. So if you missed out that, you should really check into, you can check into the internet for the meaning of the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path. The Noble Eightfold Path. So you really have to learn prajna and not just intelligence. If you have wisdom, what's the difference between knowledge and wisdom? The questions ask. If you have wisdom, you have knowledge already, because you open up your mind. You would be learning more if you have the wisdom. I remember when I was in Toronto, that's back in the 1970. I was in a temple at that time. I was studying at the University of Toronto, and there was a nun. He's a Cantonese. He passed away at 91 years old. Wow! So he gave a lecture, and he asked when she started the lecture, she asked the questions. If you have to choose 3 things, you're allowed 3 choices. You only allowed to pick one. What would you choose? Wisdom, wealth, and health. Wisdom, wealth, and health. What do you choose? So we're a group of youngsters, and there was a teenage girl who raises her hand and said, well, I choose money. I choose wealth, because if you have money, you can do everything. You can buy a lot of things. You have money, you have wealth, then you can get the best doctor. You can do everything with money. And there's another youngster that said, I think health is important. That's what my mom told me. Keep good health. If you have good health, you can do a lot of good work. You see, when youngsters they always think practically. I have money. I have health. I'm healthy. Then I can do this. I can do that. And finally, the answer, the nun said, wisdom is the most important. If you choose wisdom, if you have wisdom, automatically you know how to be healthy. You know that healthy is important. So if you have wisdom, you would try to better yourself in health. If you have wisdom, you would acquire money, and you would know how to use the money too, intelligently. So wisdom is the most important. Knowledge, if you have wisdom, you would know how to acquire knowledge. The Diamond Sutra, what is the official name of the Diamond Sutra? The Diamond Prajna Paramita. Prajna Paramita. The Buddha lectured Prajna for 22 years. 22 years just on the subject, on wisdom. And wisdom contains in all the sutras. That's the well of wisdom that we should dig into. That spring in there is unending, is ever flowing, and it will never dry it up. Are you willing to drill into the well, the wisdom well? When you're being successful in drilling it, when the spring comes out, it will be forever. It will come to you. And happiness will flow from it too. Eternity will flow from it too. You see, we're only living this life. And if we don't better ourselves, if we don't purify our karma, we'll lapse into the next life. The next life may be better or may be worse. It all depends on you. You work out your own karma. Nobody else. So that's the first question. So second question, if nothing is real, then why should we still pay respect to the Buddha statue? Nothing is real, but the Buddha statue exists. Our humbleness, our respect for the Buddha, our respect for the philosophy of nothing is real should be there. It does not mean that nothing is real. Oh, nothing is real, the Canadian flag would just tear it down. It's not real. Nothing is real. Nothing is real. Even my body is not real. Maybe I should get rid of my body because the body is not real. Nothing is not real does not mean that you can use a negative attitude to destroy things or disrespect things. Nothing is real comes from deep wisdom of the highest respect. Not from arguing about the unreality and challenging unreality by disrespecting the Buddha statues or humbling the statue. So, if nothing is real, then our humbleness, our respect for the Dharma, our respect for the teacher should also be there. It should be there. It does not mean our respect is not real, so we don't have to respect. Everything is empty, but they still exist. They exist in a glamorous way. The world is unreal, but it's a beautiful world. Why do you hate the world? The world is not real. It exists only temporarily. And we only exist for 100 years. Then we'll have the summer, the spring, the autumn, the winter, and No summer is forever. It will come next time. The world is beautiful, but it's not real. Does that mean that you hate the world? You can't hate the world. There's beauty in the world. There's beauty in everything that's unreal. Everything is unreal, but there's beauty in it. Even the ugliest things has beauty in it. I don't hate it. So why should I thinking about this unreal and I become disrespectful about it? It flows from the purity of your mind. It's unreal, but it's beautiful. But there's a lot of compassion in it, a lot of wisdom in it. Why do I hate it? Why do I disregard it? I think you are steering yourself in the wrong way. If nothing is real, then I don't have to pay respect to the Buddha. All my family members come together because of certain causes that were created in our past life. We all have unfinished relationship. That means that bring us together. We become brothers and sisters, husband and wife, and all that. And it's unreal. So if it's unreal, I disrespect them. I don't care for them. Is that what you mean? You misapply the concept. You misunderstand it. It's unreal, but it exists. And we still render our compassion to it. We still respect it. Everything is the Buddha. I see everything, every dust is Buddha. I think if you think everything is beautiful, it becomes beautiful. If you think everything is ugly, it comes from your ugly mind. It's unreal, but it exists. It exists wonderfully. That answers the questions. Does all karma cause us to reincarnate, including good karma? Well, yes. Karma is an accumulation of your action, of your speech and your thought since many, many lives ago. It's been brought forward, accumulated. And all this causes us to realize effect. If I have done something in the past that would qualify me to become a being in heaven, then I'll be a being in heaven. I will be in the Rupa Dhatu and the Avrupa Dhatu, enjoying millions years of longevity, enjoyed. If the karma that I created in my previous life should throw me into hell, then I become a victim of hell. But good karma would give good results. So you are the creator of your own world. Why are people healthy, for example, according to sutras? Why are people in this life become healthy and they're not always sick and they live long life? Just health, they're just considering health. Why? Because they didn't kill animals for food in the previous lives. They were not cruel. They protect animals. They're compassionate to animals. Not only animals, to all humans. So the effect is they enjoy longevity. Now how come I'm very rich, for example? I'm extremely rich, I'm a billionaire. Because in my previous lives, I give. I don't rip people off. I don't exploit people. I always give. In terms of money, in terms of voluntary work, I always render out. I give. So in this life, I receive. If you're always receiving and not giving, then in this life, you'll be poor. So that's just to explain cause and effect in a very short way. Of course, there are other conditions to work towards this. There's certain cause, there's certain effect. There are conditions, contributing conditions. So good karma would give you, in this life, good look, good health, or rich, Bad karma will give you bad effects. But what should be my attitude if I have bad karma? If you're suffering now, you always repent. What I have done in the past, I'm not going to do again, the wrong thing. I will do good things now, and I will be compassionate to all. This is how you improved. So what is neutral karma? Neutral karma is neither bad or good. Neutral. But neutral karma also has an effect. The effect of neutrality, that means you're not being intelligent, you're not being foolish. You're wasting your time. There's no good and no bad, neutral. If we perform good deeds but without attachment, can we avoid accumulating karma? If you perform good deeds without attachment, if you perform good deeds, you will have good karma, that's for sure. If you perform good deeds without attachment, without the notion of the giver, the receiver, and the gift, then you're attaining a higher level. You're attaining the sunyata level. You're attaining the wisdom level. You're attaining the enlightenment level. That's nirvana, if you're going up there. That's what the Diamond Sutra is saying. Not just creating good karma. You create good karma without attachment. So you forsake the notion, the fallacious notion of the ego, personality, beings, and life. So you're eliminating all human, all mental afflictions. So that's without attachment. That's a good question. On second thought, if you perform good deeds without attachment, that's a higher level. Good deeds, for sure, next life you'll be good. You may be healthy, wealthy, you may be handsome or beautiful, or you name them. You perform all kinds of good karmas. But you still are subject to reincarnation. You're not out yet because you perform this good karma with attachment. You want repayment. You want it realized that you'll be handsome, you'll be healthy and rich. But if you perform them unconditionally, without any attachment, as the Diamond Sutra indicated, you're out to nirvana. You're out to anuttara samya sambuddhi. So that answers that question. Next, is intention important when giving, or is that just ego attaching expectation? Intention is, of course, important. If the intention is unconditional, that would be, as I said, an enhancement of wisdom when giving. Or it's just the ego attaching expectation. No, I wouldn't say that's ego, because when you give without, you're giving without ego. You're giving without ego. How can you be attaching to ego? But another question comes, if you practice the Buddha's teaching and you want to be a Buddha, is that an ego? You want to be the Buddha and you still want something. You still need to set up your aim, your destination. You still need to set that up. But once the destination is reached, you forego the raft. Even Buddha, you let go of it. But you need that raft, you need to talk about it. You need to still talk about it. Otherwise, how can we express the essence? We still need the words to say. But finally, no Buddhism, no Buddha. There's nothing to be obtained. Not a dust to be obtained. If there's something to be attained, it's not the Buddha's teaching. But you need that raft. You still need to do it. Next, Buddhism teaches people not to tell lies. Does this principle still apply if people choose to tell lies in place of the truth because they know the truth will hurt the other person? If you tell lies because you don't want to hurt people, that's good intention. But that is still a lie. Telling lie is a breakage of the precept. But if you think that if I break that, I may suffer from not conforming to it, but I'm not hurting people. That is a Bodhisattva's thinking. So sometimes that's an expedient way of rendering compassion to people. As long as you are sure that by telling lie you're not hurting people, you may make the wrong assumption. So you have to be skillful. You have to apply skillful means. Intention is the most important. If you tell a lie so that you want to save people's work, you want to save people, sometimes it may have other effects that you haven't thought of. Have you thoroughly considered all the aspects when you're telling this lie? If you are 100% sure that this lie is not going to hurt anybody, then it's a skillful means. For example, if you are visiting your old mom at home and she's all alone, she has a lot of household work to do, and then you come to visit your mom, and your mom cared about whether you have dinner or not, and said, "Oh son, have you had your dinner yet? If you want to eat something, I will cook something for you." And you want to save trouble. You don't want your mom to wash dishes and cook for you so that your mom can rest. You say, "Mom, I'm not hungry. I already have my dinner. So don't worry about me, and let's have a chat. Don't cook for me." That's a lie because you haven't had your dinner. But you want to save your mom's toil. You want to save your mom's work. That's a lie, right? But that's a good lie, a skillful lie. That lie won't hurt your mom. So sometimes you will have to consider the different angles. And I cannot apply this not telling lie rule strictly to everything. You have to be skillful and expedient in using it. Okay, next. How can one handle insect infestation? Well, I think you should cure the problem from its root. Have you been maintaining your house in sanitary conditions? Or you don't care, you're sloppy, you throw things around, and that attracts a lot of insects to the house. So you must learn to keep the house clean, thinking that if there's insect infestation, then the cockroaches and mosquitoes, then I have to get rid of them, and I don't want to kill, so I better keep my house clean. So you should consider that. Now, once you have done all the measures to keep your house clean, and you have ants or insect infestation, then you have to think more about it. I have ants in the house. Maybe I should remove these ants out to the wild, if they still can be controlled. If I have rats, then maybe I should use a trap to trap them, but not killing them, so that they go into the trap, they won't get killed. I put something in a cage, and they get trapped, and I release them out to the wild. So you have to think about catching them and making sure that they're not killed.